Yeah, so sorry for that interruption. So, yeah, we're talking about digging out the weeds.
Yeah, so we do have this cheapest chips program, which allows you to engage with it without a massive commitment. For me, it's really important that the coaches understand the terms and conditions. We're going to show them a quality assured system, and more importantly, that they are on the same wavelength, that they're happy to change, that they do change themselves. You know, you get what you project. We lead those guys into a group, then they could then join us with level 1, level 2, level 3 awards. And of course, as you go up the scheme of awards, then you become more qualified to deal and experienced to deal with the more complex stuff. We also mentor people at that point. So when we run change programs, which is one of the videos I sent to you, one of our most recent change programs, when we run those, we get coaches in and we mentor them. But the coaches, the new system that we've got, Karen, the system it's phenomenal now, because now it's much easier to train coaches with the card system. It's made that far more efficient, and the proof of the pudding's in the eating, because when people are certifying now, even at level 1, they're going off and using it with clients straight away. So that's great.
Well, I've met a couple of people that have actually done the course, and they're radiant. You know, they're jumping up and down with joy.
Yeah.
Their life has changed from it. So, you know, good for you for doing this, and you are changing people's lives and allowing those people to help change other people's lives. So I know it's very fair. And actually, I have done the course a couple of years ago, which helped me enormously.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the coaches just go from strength to strength, because we support them throughout the whole of their coaching journey. And as long as they understand, a lot of people in the freedom movement, and there's no judgment with this, if you use chemicals or you're smoking weed or stuff like that, we can't have coaches that are doing that, because they're not a metaphor for change. From our perspective, I couldn't say to you, you know, go out and do a bit of physical training if I'm not doing it myself. So we have to be a metaphor for change, and everyone that comes to us that we use is on that level.
Fabulous. Well, how can people find it? Have you got a website now? I'm going to write it down so I can put it on the description.
Yeah, we've got a website. It's www.spectrum.tc, that's Tango Charlie, .co.uk. And it'll show you how we're different on there, Karen. It'll show you what we do, and how we're not counselors and we're not life coaches, how the coaching tool that we use, Spectrum for Change, Spectrum, why it's unique and why it gets the results it gets, which is all supported by evidence and research.
So you've been going over to Ireland, is it Northern Ireland a fair bit as well, haven't you? Doing some
Southern Ireland.
You've been to just Southern Ireland, yeah? What's taken you there? Why, and what you're doing?
Well, we've got a venue in Drogheda in Southern Ireland that we use with Dolores, and Dolores has been, you know, she's been doing her best for quite some time, you know, to get things rolling with trial by jury and different strategies and behaviour. Well, she's always been in the fight, as far as I'm concerned. Other people have their own perspectives. I measure facts. She's been the most consistent person, and actually, under fire, she's held her course better than anyone I know.
Yeah,
she has been under fire.
I was going to say she has been. I don't think you can see her on YouTube anymore, because even if you just mention her name, I think they remove any YouTube clips. I know I was removed the other day. It wasn't because of her, because somebody mentioned about this thing in your arm, and they've given me one of those strikes. So, you know, the freedom of speech seems to have gone out the window in our country. It's crazy.
Totally.
But okay, so you're working with her as well with Spectrum. Is it just about Spectrum?
Yeah, she came into the coach training. She's using some of her skills. We're going to be collaborating going forwards. So we've got a venue in Southern Ireland that we're going to be using, because I'm also doing for instance, tonight I'm doing a 2-hour session on influencing skills with the Workers' Party of Great Britain leadership team.
Wow, that's very good.
And so I'm going to be doing that with some of the politicians that are over in Ireland, because if we're going to influence, we've got to influence ethically.
Yes, and the right people.
And of course,
influencers. We've got to, yeah, and that's
well. If you look at the Zionist lot, Karen. What they've done is they put common purpose in place. Common purpose have been training people in the art of NLP. Look at the green literacy, climate change literacy programs that were wheeled out in and amongst the councils to sell linguistically the literacy issue, the CO2 issue.
Yeah.
So for me, when somebody's doing that, and you've also got an organisation called UK 100 that have direct access to cabinet ministers, but are literally influencing at local council levels. That's never happened before in history.
Yeah.
And of course, they're training people how to sell and influence others using NLP and some of those skills. So I'm like this, well, if they're doing that, what we need to make sure is that when our guys stand up and speak, that they also have the same capacity to influence based on the manifesto that I believe is about the most sovereign manifesto that exists.
I mean, again, I keep referring to the last 4 years because that's why we're all doing what we're doing at the moment. But you can see how they've used this because words are spells, aren't they? Spellings, they are. And build back better. And the one that really gets on my nerves is when you're at a train station, see it, say it, sorted. So this NLP, 3 things in threes, it goes straight in.
Power of threes.
That's very powerful, very, very powerful. And
it's powerful.
Yeah, talking about words as well. And when you start knowing, what the words mean with common law, it's fascinating. It's very, very clever, but we've got a lot of catching up to do because they've had us by the place for some centuries, I think, for quite a long time. Mick, can I ask you then? So starting this conversation, it was, and when I wanted to talk to you, well, I wanted to talk to you for lots of reasons, but one of the things I'd like to get to is how can we assist people in this movement, grown men and women, that are falling out with each other? It's going back to the shadow, but if they're not looking in the mirror and seeing that their reflection isn't what they think it is, how can we assist these people to say, look at yourself and do the work, do the inner work, when they think they're all love and light and unicorns and stuff like that, but they're actually causing a lot of problems and stirring up some, a mess. How can we help them if they don't want to be helped, or can we not?
Well, that's the first, you've just hit the nail on the head. A lot of them don't want to be helped because they're already legends in their own mind. When you decide that you're absolutely right, 100% right, you won't see beyond that. Anyone that's looked at the perception tests that are out there, I invite people to look at the whodunit test. So there's a little perception test called whodunit. Just tap it in and you'll see exactly what you miss in any interaction. So when people start to say, I know, that worries me. That worries me because what you know stops you from knowing anything else. It's only what you know that stops you from learning. And as long as people embrace a learning mindset, and as long as people go for the win-win, I mean, even in some of the groups we're seeing win-lose sort of interactions. Win-lose interactions are aggression.
Yeah.
When I go to prove you wrong, instead of going, what's your perspective? Oh, this is my perspective.
Yes.
Okay, I don't have to embrace yours. You don't have to embrace mine. But we should literally sort of go, okay, that's your perspective. You know, so as long as people are going into I win, you lose interactions, they're blind.
Because it comes with a degree of arrogance, I think, as well, because we look at the people outside our movement in the matrix, and you might try and educate them or tell them something that we know, what's going on in the skies or in the water, whatever. We tell them, look, do you know this is what's happening? And so many people would have gone to their phone and said, well, I'm going to, what was it, that thing they used to, they'll tap it in, not WikiLeaks, well, WikiLeaks is one of them, but there was that other one that would tell you if it's true or not true in the early days. I can't remember what it was. And you'll think, oh my God, you're believing what somebody else has put in there. So we know, well, as truth as we know that all that stuff is programmed. So now these people in the movement, it's the same sort of thing. They're not tapping it into the Wikipedia for the answers, though. They have this kind of arrogance, really, saying, well, no, I know I'm right, and that's it. And I'm just thinking, wow, you've got, you're stuck on the ladder, basically, because it is it's an ascension process we're going through, isn't it? And I'm saying the ladder is horizontal because it implies that somebody's better. If the ladder's going up, somebody's more superior than somebody else. We're not. It's a horizontal ladder, but I think some people get stuck there with their arrogance or naivety or pride or whatever it is. And like you say, it's perception.
But there's a lovely system called Claire Graves' value system, and if it's used right, and you know, it's really interesting as you look at this, because as I've gone into different arenas, people have said to me, "Oh, Mick, you read tarot?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I do." Well, why would that's esoteric? And I said, "Well, is it really?" I said, "What's the difference between tarot and the Bible?" And they'll say, "Well, the Bible is." I said, "The Bible is more dictatorial than tarot." I said, "And actually, if you've ever taken someone from a position of being a fool where they can't do a single thing, and you've turned them and helped them become an elite performer, I can guarantee if you read Paul Foster Case's version of the tarot writing, every card in the major arcana that person has to pass through to become elite. Guarantee it. Because they have to address each individual element of themselves, masculine and feminine, to become a warrior. And that includes girls. So ultimately, and women, you know, I mean, I even got told off for calling people girls the other day. And I went, wow, we've got to that point, haven't we? I am 64 years of age, and you are a lot younger. And for me, you look like girls, you know.
Yeah.
But if that offends you, you know, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right.
But
so the key thing,
can I just say something here also, Mick? You just said to become elite. Now, I just want to clarify on the word elite. What are we describing here? We're not talking about elite like top of the pyramid. We're talking about elite as in very good at.
No, if you, so for instance, for you to be elite, it's just a word, isn't it? And it has
Yeah, it is a word.
So, but the key thing is right, if you end up being at the top of your game and you can prove that behaviorally. So the one thing with Spectrum, when I sat in front of 6 professors at the University of Central Lancashire, the one thing none of them could question were the results. So we'll all disagree when we get to how we're going to do it. We'll never disagree on what we want to achieve. We all want freedom. We all want peace. We all want love. We all want light. But as we start to sort of say, well, how are we going to get it? That's the point at which people start to disagree. Elite means that I can prove that everything that I've done is getting these results at the highest level. So, for instance, if I'm an elite guitarist, there must be an elite guitarist out there, yeah? People can see that.
Yeah.
Because guess what? They don't tell you I'm a fantastic guitarist. They go, ding, 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 ding. Now, if you need polynomials to prove you're elite, you're not elite.
No.
You probably don't even believe in yourself. And that was something that I said to the professors. I said, why do you all have polynomials? You know, if I kayaked a river that's a grade 6 river, and I get to the end of the river and I'm laughing with my mates, and we've all had a great time, we don't need to tell anybody. We don't get, you know, kayaked grade 6 water, blind E9 on a rock face. We don't need any of that. When you're in the real arena of performance, you prove who you are by what you do. And I would suggest that to really be elite, it's much more important to be a silent giant than it is to be a loud one. Because a lot of the extreme environments I've found myself in, the lessons I've learned have never been from the ones that talk the loudest. They've been from the ones that actually are the most meek and mild and learn how to share the bit with you that takes you on to the next level and enjoy you going on to the next level. You know, when I first went into the world of psychology, Karen, I failed my AS psychology, and it's like a half an A level, and I failed it. And I couldn't work out why, except for, well, I kept asking the teacher. So I've got some guys here that I want to canoe a river with, and they think they're going to die. I said, and I've got 2 that are confident, 2 that are really, really, absolutely scared stupid, and I've got 2 that are in the middle. How do I help those ones that are scared stupid? And he couldn't tell me. So I said, well, how do we convert these models that you're talking about here to an actual performance? And that's one of the biggest challenges with the movement. A lot of them are in the world of what and not how. So they will talk a great concept, but when it comes to the how, not many of them deliver something that is tangible and that can be proved whether they are elite in their field or not. And it's about results for me. It doesn't matter what your nominals are. So for me, it's about the results you get.
No, absolutely. You described it really well. So what's your next plan before we wind off here? What's your next plan? What are you doing now?
Well, we're looking at a local facility. We're going to we're now connecting with some great people. We're going to be looking at hosting spectrum change programs. We want to train as many coaches as we can because we want to spread the love ripples, and we want to get that rolling over the next few years. I'm going to be doing nothing but training coaches and running change programs, creating as many coaches as we can create, as many people that can help other people, because mental health is one of the biggest assets that they have. The way that they've created a mental health crisis is one through climate engineering, because we haven't really seen much sun. And of course, if you're living in cloud, it doesn't exactly turn you on unless you know what they're doing and you can make sense of it. And you're clean and clear enough for it not to impact on, right?
Yeah.
But what they also did was they interrupted everyone's daily routines. So the best way to hypnotize a whole nation is to do one of three things. And these are the three basic principles of hypnosis. Create shock is the first way to do it, and they did that. Create confusion or install confusion, conflicting messages. You do this, we'll do that. Look at the confusion that the politicians have created. And then use language, linguistic ambiguities, hands, face, space. So these are linguistic ambiguities that are bigger than the average person can process, and that's why they work. So those are the three ways of doing that. And they've done all of those to get us into a space where we pretty much want to fear everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's literally how it works. So what we're saying is, let's get rid of all of that using a tool that beats it all hands down, and we want as many people trained in it as we can get.
So that's going to be in the UK and England and Scotland and Wales and Southern Ireland and are you there, Mick?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, I've disappeared. Sorry, I'm trying to show you some of my phone in a minute. Are you going to go global? Are you going to go overseas as well? You're going to go down to Australia?
We've already trained a number of people. If I look at Asia, so I lived in Asia, and I've delivered programs in South Africa, Seychelles. So we've already done that to a certain extent. But now we are literally serious, and now it's well shaped and it's got a system in place to support it. And of course, that's what Victoria's doing. With some great people. So we'll see where it goes from here, Karen. Okay. Watch this space.
So watch this space. So people watching this video can find you on the spectrumtc.co.uk. I was just wanting to show you, because I know I can't add things on YouTube. You can't add pictures and stuff. But we're talking about weather, and I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that clearly? So it's a nice, pretty pink. This is in my back garden the other day. It was pink.
Wow.
And people say, oh, is it the what do you call it? The
Aurora Borealis?
No, it's not. It's not. It's what they're spraying at us. I sent it to my friend.
Absolutely.
It's
Karen, I was an adventurous training instructor for a number of years in the military, and I know the difference between a warm front, a cold front, and what it looks like and how it's shaped, an occluded front, a trough, an electrical storm. And I tell you now, right, I've never seen anything like we're experiencing outside.
Well, I sent it to a friend and she sent me this. I don't know if you can see it very well, but the one at the bottom, I can't point. Yeah. That is, which was like my pink tree. I think that's cadmium. That's
right.
What's being sprayed, cadmium.
That would be one of the metals.
Yeah. So it's radioactive.
Strontium, strontium, barium.
Yeah. Do they glow? Yeah. I mean, I just went in. Everybody said it was very pretty, and it was very pretty. But I just went inside because it was just kind of hovering over my tree in Sussex. So we are being affected, as pretty as it might be. We are being affected, and we need to do some work.
Yeah. Well, the whole purpose of that is to demoralize.
Yeah. Like this is great.
And of course, if you haven't got a pain body.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a pain body, it's very difficult to demoralize you.
No, that's absolutely right. Well, Mick,
yeah, totally.
On here, hold on when I close the video, but thank you very much. I'm going to turn the record off now, unless there's anything you want to say to anybody who might be watching this.
No, just if you're looking for something to use to help people, give us a shot.
Cool, lovely. So thank you. Mick, and we'll catch up soon. And I'm just going to stop the recording and have a word with you privately in a second.